It's not often we get genuine game-changing technology in the bicycle world, but this Classified Powershift 2-speed gear hub system could just be that. It could kill the front mech, and it could be the future of one-bike group sets. Well, I've been riding this bike for the last few weeks to find out if it has the potential to live up to that hype. So let's dive in. At the back of the bike here, we have a 2-speed gear hub system. Now, the exact details of the hub system are classified, hence the name of the company, but we can guess it's a planetary style gear system. Now, gear hubs are nothing new in the world of cycling, but there have been few attempts to create a lightweight and efficient system that can replace a conventional drivetrain on a high performance drop bar bike like we have here. So the gear hub offers 2 speeds, a 1-to-1 and then a 70% reduction gear. And to put that in context, with a 50-tooth chainring on the front, you can have a virtual 34 inner chainring, replicating the common compact gearing setup you get on a drop bar road bike. And some of the performance advantages, according to the company, include better mechanical efficiency from that bigger single chainring, optimized chain line, and a smaller, more compact cassette with few of the big gaps you get on some of the increasingly large one-bike, gravel bike group sets. So it all sounds pretty promising so far, but there is a but: the price. Here in the UK, a complete system costs £2,300. And by a complete system, I mean the rear hub with that gear hub system, a set of carbon fibre wheels. These are G30 gravel wheels. There are road bike wheels as well. The through axle with a wireless transmitter and a gear shifter on the handlebar there. So that price would definitely be a barrier to uptake in the early stages of this development. One for early adopters for sure, but for wider, more mainstream adoption, the price needs to come down. And I think they need to offer the gear hub system on its own with the through axle and a shifter, and let you build into your own wheels from MV, Zip, Mavic, whoever your favorite wheel brand is. So the price is a hurdle. Now, let's get change. We'll go for a spin. We'll put the price on one side and we'll talk about how it performs and whether it has the benefits and capabilities to actually replace a front mech and be the future of one-bike group sets. The great thing about this classified setup is how you can have a whopping big chainring for fast, high-speed road riding, yet still have reasonably low gears for going up some of the steepest gravel off-road climbs you can find. You can use it and treat it the same way as you do a bike with a front mech, by which I mean you spend most of your time in the big ring, and then as the gradient kicks up and you work your way up the sprocket to the bigger, easier gears, you choose a time to switch down to your virtual small ring, or granny gear we say here in the UK. So effectively you're using it as a climbing gear only, and then as soon as it flattens out, you're back into the big ring. But of course, you don't have to limit yourself to such conventional thinking. Because there's no cross-chaining worry, you can use either gear all the time, up and down the entire cassette. So if you're off-road and the terrain is up and down, you can use that smaller gear. And then when you're on faster rolling roads, you can put it into the big ring. So you can use it in a very different way to a front mech, where you manage your chain rings and you try and avoid cross-chaining as much as possible. Right now, I'm climbing, so I'm in that low range gear option, and it's working really well. There will be concerns around the efficiency and the drag of the gear hub system. And in my experience, other gear hub systems on commuting and city bikes do have noticeable drag in certain gears. But this system, I have to say, has no real detectable drag or resistance in either gear, high or low. Out here, my local trails, bumping around the gravel and grassy tracks, I can't feel any drag in the system, can't feel anything slowing me up, holding me back. Just feels like a regular one-bike gravel bike. Of course, it's not the most scientific validation. I've got no power meter on the bike to really test for efficiency concerns, but it doesn't feel any slower, doesn't feel like there's anything holding me back compared to a regular one-bike gravel bike. To change gear, all you have to do is press the small shifter button on the drops here, kind of like a Shimano Di2 sprint shifter, if you're familiar with those. And you press that button and change gear anytime you want, moving or stationary, it doesn't matter. And they say you can shift up to 1000 watts, but sometimes if you're putting quite a bit of power through the system, like you're climbing for example, you do get a loud clunk, which is a bit alarming. It works fine, no side effects from that loud clunk, it's just quite a loud sound. For me, I prefer a bit of mechanical sympathy, and in my 25 years of riding bikes, I ease up ever so slightly on the power when changing gear on a climb to get a smoother, quieter shift. So it does work fine then, but it would be even nicer if it was integrated into the Shimano GRX Di2 shifters on this bike. Not being able to change gear from these buttons here is a bit of a missed opportunity, but hopefully that's something they can change in the future, and the same with SRAM 1x ETAP as well, and just make it easier to change gear when you're rattling along a bumpy gravel track. Weight is another possible concern, but the company does claim that the system is within 10 grams of a Shimano GRX Di2 2x group set with DT Swiss 350 hubs. Another concern is the fact you have to use their own cassette due to the way the hub is designed. But they are reasonably priced at £170 each, which is cheaper than a SRAM Eagle GX for comparison. And they come in 11 and 12 speed options, from 11.27 up to 11.34. And it is really nicely machined. All the excess material has been removed, and it's made from a single piece of steel, so it does look the part. One change I'd love to make to the bike is to fit a smaller chainring, because simply put, I'm finding it a bit much on some of my steeper local climbs, a bit overgeared, so a smaller chainring would be a change I would definitely do if I was keeping buying this bike. Which brings me on to another topic of whether this is the future of one bike. I can see the benefits of this system if you live somewhere flat with high-speed gravel and road, and you want to maintain a high average speed, but also want reasonably low gears for some climbs. But for the way I ride gravel bikes and the terrain I have, which you can see around, it isn't flat at all, lots of very steep but short climbs, I want low range because I spend more time suffering grinding up steep climbs I do spinning out on high speed gravel. Now a smaller chainring might solve all of that, and something I would like to try if I had the bike for longer than I do have it. So something to kind of bear in mind, I think. You need to focus on what you need and want for your gravel bike. Is it high speed and that versatility you get from a front mech, or do you want really low easy gears for spinning up the steeper climbs you often find off-road compared to on the road? So for me, I think this system currently doesn't really serve my requirements as much as that SRAM Mullet or Campag Ekar offering. So in summary then, the Classified Powershift system is a genuinely exciting bit of technology. Of course, the idea of a gear hub system is nothing new. They're not reinventing the wheel here. But in this lightweight and efficient application, it is something new and exciting. And for many people, I can see this being a perfect one-by setup. You get the clean looks, the aero, the simplicity of a one-by, but fewer of the big gaps you get on a big dinner plate cassette like you get with SRAM Eagle. It does work really well, and as soon as they offer better integration with SRAM and Shimano shifters, and the option of buying the hub on its own and bring the price down as well, I think the rollout of this could be a really exciting thing to witness. Yes, it probably won't wipe out the front mech because front mechs have many fans and they're still quite cheap and they do work for many people. But I can see this definitely growing a reasonable market share. Whether it's a future for all gravel bikes and all road bikes is probably a bit far-fetched and a bit overhyped, but I can definitely see this carving out a sizable niche in the gravel all-road road bike sector. And we have seen it being used in a pro bike race very recently as well. So really exciting technology. It's not often we get technology like this that does have the potential to transform how we use and operate road and gravel bikes, but this is something quite exciting. Anyway, let me know what you think of it by leaving a comment down below. Is it something you're excited by, or are you turned off by it? And if you want to see my video on the pros and cons of one by group sets, then check the video right up here. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting this button down here. But that's all for today. I'm off for a nice spin on this sunny day. I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much for watching.